in 2014, Muparinga got sick because of his preaching that he was healed of HIV. He stopped taking his medicine. He almost died by defaulting on his medication, having been deceived by Uebert Angel that he was now healed. Muparinga could have died. Mapundu ana Muparinga akadefaulta mishonga muna 2013 and 2014. Abhilivhiswa kuti ava HIV negative. Zvandataura izvi ndo zvakaburitsa Muparinga kuchechi kwa Uebert Angel. And he was not happy because he said, Angel is stealing my sermons and preaching them in church, but he's not allowing me to preach. He was never allowed to preach by Angel. I think he was given a chance to preach once or twice, and a few minutes. He had developed Bundu Pamanza, and it wasn't looking good. And he was not happy because he said, Angel is stealing my sermons and preaching them in church, but he's not allowing me to preach. He was never allowed to preach by Angel. I think he was given a chance to preach once or twice, and a few minutes. He almost lost his life in Muparinga because of Uebert Angel. Chandiri kutaura izvo ndo zvakauraisa mwana waMuparinga mukomana. He stopped taking his medication and infected his child.
Ziko, the journalist.
Ziko is a journalist. He comments on doctrinal matters. Whatever gives Ziko $1 is what he will publish. At best, he's a journalist. He's a journalist. 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 I want Muparinga to leave me alone. Stop talking about my problems with the state. Stop claiming that you know what I was doing. He doesn't know what I was doing.
Yes.
He comes up with a lot of suppositions. Now, let me tell you two things that cause Muparinga to hate me. Muparinga hates me to the core because I stole his prominence from street preaching. But I didn't replace Muparinga, because if people believed that he was a man of God, then I never asked anyone, stop listening to Muparinga, listen to me. People stopped following Muparinga because they were attracted to my message. Muparinga is a troubled soul, a seriously troubled soul. Because what Muparinga did, and this is what I want him to listen to, it's again a sign that if I want to have a personal brawl with him, I have the capacity to do that. Since 2019, Muparinga has attacked me personally, and I've continued to warn him. He has refused to listen. What Muparinga did is in 2009, when?
2009.
In 2009 and 2010, Muparinga came to Gomba. I used to come to Gomba not to listen to Muparinga. I listened to a lot of charlatans. There was Muparinga, there was Numga, there was that brother from End Time Message, there was Shadrach, there was Chambwera, there was Matema, there was Kazarira, there was Gapa. Who else was there? These are the people I found preaching at First Street. I know everyone's message. So what we would do is we would go into town, do some window shopping or some shopping, so do some transacting outside work. And before lunchtime is over, we would pass through Gomba. The lunchtime was like drama. You know, the end time message, people preached in English, one interpreting and with a lot of gestures and all that. And that's how I ended up knowing Muparinga. I wasn't going to Gomba kunona Muparinga. There were many preachers at Gomba. I did not know the true gospel then. But when I then started preaching around 2013, there was a time when Muparinga came and said, look, it happened around 2011, 2012. Because what happened is in 2013, that's when Muparinga got sick. In 2011, 2012, I was still coming Pagomba. Muparinga came and preached. He preached that he has found a God that heals. He said I was HIV positive and God healed me. We believed it. You understand? I didn't know him personally. Contrary to what he is saying, when I was still working, I only knew him as a street preacher. We never had a personal relationship. I came to Gomba, listened to whoever was preaching. If I wanted to give my offerings in ignorance, I gave them, including himself. There was nothing personal. Muparinga never came to my house. I never went to Muparinga's house. So there's no personal relationship between me and him. It's a lie. In 2011, 2012, Muparinga preached. Every time he preached, he said, I was HIV positive. God healed me. Now I'm free because I was healed by God through the man of God, Uebert Angel. He preached that. It was not a personal conversation. He preached about him being healed by God, so I can pray for you and God will heal you. So we said, well, glory to God. You understand? Come 2013, we started preaching. He wasn't happy about it because we had to ask for time. And they were sharing time in that time, the three of them, Chiwenga, Matema, and Muparinga. I asked for time. They refused to create time during the day, so they ended up giving me evening time, which started around 4. I had to buy lights and generator to preach because it was going to get dark and I needed to record. But because people would come from work after 5, what happened is I started having more people than them. Then they said, let's rotate. Let's rotate. This week you preach 4 to 5. And then next week, we get that chance. We did that for a couple of times. And each time I switched, people changed their time. They also came the time I was preaching. So it was clear that more people were coming to me than when they are coming to him. And he said he's leaving Gomba. He started preaching at Julius Nyerere there. There was a place he founded for himself. It didn't work. He had to come back to Gomba because people... He thought he was going to have more people following him. Not anybody, not more people followed him. So he came back and he started to say, give me time. I refused. He tried to bully me. I refused to be bullied. And it was embarrassing. A lot of things happened. But I'm saying this for you to know that in 2014, Muparinga got sick because of his preaching that he was healed of HIV. He stopped taking his medicine. It was me and other people who sat down. I think if you still remember, there was a time when Muparinga was not preaching for about 4 or 5 months, and he was walking with a cape on his head. He had developed Bundu Pamanza, and it wasn't looking good. I am one of the people who asked Dikazarira to persuade Muparinga to take his medicine. He almost died by defaulting on his medication, having been deceived by Uebert Angel that he was now healed. Muparinga could have died if isusu vaparidze pagomba dai tisina kuita dare rekuti imi vanakazarira imi muri closer kuna Muparinga kudarika isusu. Mukomana ari kurwara, onai kusviba kwaaita, onai mapundu aaita. Mapundu ana Muparinga akadefaulta mishonga muna 2013 and 2014. Abhilivhiswa kuti ava HIV negative. We sat down and came up with a committee to go and talk to him. If this man called Kazarira is still alive, he lived in Epworth, we used to preach together. He can confirm this conversation. It happened. And this is why he ended up resuming on his medication. We said to him, well, did you go for testing to prove that what the prophet said is true? He couldn't answer that. Go and get tested. If you are still sick, tora mishonga azvinyadzise. So these are some of the things that we have done for Muparinga to save his life. He was so naive that he was made to believe that he is sick. He is no longer sick. To the extent that he stopped taking his medication, we helped him kuti ngatidzokere tinonwa mishonga. Azvikutadzise kuparidza zvekunwa mishonga. So Muparinga resumed his medicines and Muparinga got better. Ndopaakazobvisa KPI. Akatanga kuparidza. Bose bundu ranga inyarura risingaiti rarakakura kudai. Saka aifamba akavhara mhanza nebundu ranga riri pa. Zvandiri kutaura izvo ndo zvakaurayisa mwana waMuparinga mukomana. He stopped taking his medication and infected his child. And when Muparinga's son died, Muparinga came to us. I was at Gomba. He said, these guys are terrible. I said, which guys? But you know what? I was trying to comfort him. I sat down with him. He can't deny that. I said to him, look, I was looking for you. I couldn't get it through. I wanted to come to your house to say my condolences over the loss of your son. He said, well, when we buried my son, I was heartbroken. I actually decided not to preach at all. What happened to you? Muparinga said, when my son was extremely sick to the point of death, Uebert Angel gave me oil and said, even if the child dies, this oil will resurrect him. So Muparinga was given oil by Uebert Angel to resurrect his dead son. According to Muparinga, he applied this oil several times. When the child had already died, the child did not wake up. The child did not resurrect. Zvandataura izvi ndo zvakaburitsa Muparinga kuchechi kwaUebert Angel. Muparinga joined Uebert Angel's church because Uebert Angel donated 4 suits to him, which he bought in 4 May. And he appeared on H Metro, a prophet, as blessed a street preacher with his suits. From the day Muparinga received the suits, he became a member of Angel's church. He used to come wearing a t-shirt with Guti's picture there because Muparinga was a member of Zayoja. He left Zayoja because of suits and joined Uebert Angel. When Angel ran away from Zimbabwe because of these scandals, and because of this scandal, Muparinga was heartbroken. That's how Muparinga left Uebert Angel's church. Ask him why he is no longer a son of Uebert Angel. From a spiritual son of Guti to a spiritual son of Uebert Angel, it took him 4 suits and an iPad. These are the things that Uebert Angel gave him. And one day Muparinga comes to me and says, in this iPad, there are many books that I was given by the prophet. But this book is surprising me that it's in the iPad from the man of God. Do you know what the title of that book was? It was titled, How to Use Hypnosis in Church. And in one of the titles in the topics, where it was a title on how to deceive church members to make money. So Muparinga wanted advice from me. What should I do with this book? I said, delete it. Do you want to learn how to use hypnosis to deceive people in church? These are the books Muparinga got from Angel as a gift. So Muparinga is a confused soul who has no identity, a spiritual identity. He follows the wind like a small bird. 4 suits and an iPad was what his soul costed to leave Zayoja and go to Uebert Angel. What led him to leave Uebert Angel was what Angel did when his son died. He was very angry. How could he give me oil? I thought my son was going to live, and it didn't happen. And when I told him it didn't happen, he simply said, believe with God nothing is impossible. So this is the story of Muparinga. I know more about him than he know about me. Ask him what happened to the Avondale house, which he walked around claiming Angel had bought him. It's a fraud institution, the charlatan institution. So when you talk to Muparinga, you are not talking to an evangelist. You are not talking to a man of God. You are talking to someone who is a motivational speaker, but masquerading as an evangelist. I have 3 questions to Muparinga. Number 1, did you return the books that you received from Angel, among which were certain books teaching you on how to deceive people to make money? Let him deny it, that he never said that. Let him deny it that he didn't have that book in that iPad. And semuna angas na age kunyazo dzidzawo zvake iPad yo yamita mesmerize pese paifamba naye ndakapuwa iPad na Angel. And he was not happy because he said Angel is stealing my sermons and preaching them in church, but he's not allowing me to preach. He was never allowed to preach by Angel. I think he was given a chance to preach once or twice and a few minutes. So when you talk to me about Muparinga, you're talking to me about someone that I know has no substance. Because the reason why you flip-flop from one doctrine to that one, from a son of Guti to Uebert Angel, now he has walked away from Angel because he was duped, he was defrauded, he was misled. He doesn't want to talk about Uebert Angel, who has actually harmed him. I didn't do anything to Muparinga. I simply preached the true gospel and told him that your message is flawed. This is not the message of God. And he so much loves to talk about my deceased wife, my former job. He preached on Gomba and said the reason why God punished me by killing my wife is because I talked about the mighty man of God, Ezekiel Guti. I was there in my car. He didn't see me. And I responded as soon as he left the podium. And I asked him, so who did you insult yourself when you lost your own son? And now I could ask him as well, who did Guti insult for him to die? Who did Guti's son insult for him to drown in a swimming pool? He tried to rub salt on my wound that I lost my wife because I was criticizing Guti. And I asked him, Guti akafirwa nemwana akawira mu swimming pool, akazvarwa ari chirema. Akanga atukani Guti kuti azvare chirema. Guti akatukani kuti mwana wake awire mu swimming pool. Kwewe mwana wako zvaakafa wakatukani. Don't use death to square a grudge. It's not good. Uebert Angel is a thief. I preached about that in 2015 when Muparinga left Guti and his Zayoja to submit under Uebert Angel. Muparinga aipfugama akaona Angel auya pagomba. Aipfugama so, oh, to bless me, man of God. But he cried and said I was misled by Uebert Angel. I lost my son. But the reason why he lost his son is he believed he was HIV negative, stopped taking his medicine. We helped him to start his medicine. Now, this is just a warning once again. Leave me alone, Muparinga. Dai asina kudhivhota mapiritsi ake, dai atori nani, pamwe izvezvi kurwara kwake kwakazopinda mumusoro. This is why he's obsessed with me. He can't do an interview without mentioning my name. But he must at least thank me, because when I was called to task to rescue a brother who has been brainwashed by a charlatan, we rescued him. There are so many people who stopped their medication because of these charlatans. He almost lost his life in Muparinga because of Uebert Angel. Let him deny it and see where we'll go with this discussion. So the question I want to ask you, Brethren Nyaradzo, how does a man of God bring a testimony that he was healed by a prophet without testing himself? And he almost loses his life until we had to rescue him. I'm trying to show you how his brain works. You understand? Because if Muparinga believed he was healed, it was simple. He would go to the New Start Center, get tested. Look at him now. You can see the evidence of what I'm talking about. Let him deny it, and we can resume this conversation further.
Never assume that you are the best. You are lying to yourself. Don't criticize that man of God because he doesn't preach about that and you preach about that and that one doesn't preach. No. Different messengers are given different messages. There is no perfect church. There is no perfect ministry. You will never find it. Move around. The day you find it, you let me know. That
I finally found that perfect church. I found it.
I still perfect.
It's not perfect anymore. There's no church like that.
So stop looking for a perfect church.
Where are there no problems?
Could be.